and today I'm here to speak to you about overcoming challenges and obstacles in the construction field. So before I go into that, I'd like to thank Candy Construction for putting this event on, for allowing me to speak in front of you. I'd like to give a special thanks out to Brother Neil over here of the Black Contracting Association. He's been one of my biggest advocates. He runs an apprenticeship program in San Diego that specializes on hiring inner-city youth, people of color, in building trades. So if you're ever in San Diego or you know somebody that's looking for a trade, he's the man to talk to. So with that, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out here today, allowing me to speak in front of you and kind of hear my experience. Okay, how many people out there are looking for better job opportunities, increased income, and to bring your skills to the next job? And I see a show of hands, please. I think that's pretty much all of us. We're all looking to support our careers. We're all trying to make money to take care of our family. So that's the bottom line. That's what we're all for. That's what I'm out here for. Some of the topics I'm going to be covering today are from my book, The Black Carpenter Guide. But because of time, I'm not able to touch bases on all the chapters. So I kind of chose the ones that I thought were most relevant. And the first chapter that's in my book is called The Right Mindset. And the reason why I chose that chapter is because I think that's the foundation of being productive and making things happen. You got to start with the right mindset. So that's my first chapter. And talking about the first mindset, the right mindset, the first thing you have to do, in my opinion, is have a can-do attitude. You know, us as builders and tradesmen, we get paid for what we can do and not what we can't do. So, you know, when we're out there, I'm out there, I'm trying to make things happen. You know, I'm out there, I'm productive. I always feel like I got a point to prove, not to anybody else, but just to myself. You know I want to be at the top of my game. I'm one of the best carpenters out there, and I take a lot of pride in doing that. So that's, but it all ties back to having the right mindset. So with that, you got your foundation down. The next thing I like to talk about is having self-assurance out in the construction industry. When I got into the field over 20 years ago, I was frustrated because I felt like I was never getting my props. Foremen weren't acknowledging my work, and I knew I was out there giving them my all. So what I learned through experience is that you have to reassure yourself and give your own self props and not just look to get it from other people, because I found out that doesn't always work out. So now, regardless of who I'm working for, if they're telling me I'm doing a good job or not, I know within me that I'm doing a good job. I'm doing the best job I can, and I'm very proud of that. So self-reassurance is definitely important. Next thing I like to go into that's in my book is having giving it your all, 110% when you're out on the job site. You know, when I'm out there, I'm giving it all my passion, I'm giving it all my hard work, I'm giving it all my thought, I'm giving it all my planning. You know, that's what I'm about. Because I want people to know that brothers specifically, we're just as hardworking, just as intelligent as anybody else out there in the trade. And I got a point to prove. So when I'm out there, I'm trying to handle business like that. That ties into giving 110%. I know it's not always easy, but I feel like it's necessary. So that's what I always keep in mind when I'm out on the job site. The next topic I like to go into is high energy. Construction is a very high energy occupation. All you gotta do is park across the street from a construction site, look through the gate, see what's going on, and you see people getting their hustle on. We're trying to get things done. It's high energy. So when I'm walking the site, I'm walking enthusiastically, I'm walking like I'm on a mission to get something done. Because I am. You know, that's what I'm about. So I feel like it's very important for us in the trade, especially African Americans, because there's a lot of stereotypes out there saying we're not as intelligent, we're not as hardworking, we can't run crews and manage people. So I'm out here trying to change that perception. So that's why I'm out here giving them all full of high energy.
Do you want me to start recording?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Not yet. It's gonna be
My definition of the carpenter, you won't find this in the dictionary anywhere. It's just my own personal definition of a carpenter. And that's someone that's always measuring their performance against the industry, against other carpenters on a daily basis. They're always trying to become better at the trade. You know, at the house, I got maybe 50 books on construction. drywall, painting, electrical, because I'm trying to stay up on things. And I think that's very important. And then down page, you know, they got YouTube, they got all kinds of things, online resources you can go to and further your understanding of construction. So I suggest that you take full advantage of that opportunity and always measure yourself up and make sure you are performing at the top of your game if you want to get ahead in this occupation. Next topic I like to talk about is working safe. I've been out in the trade for over 20 years. I've seen a lot of bad accidents. You know what I mean? I've had close calls. So when you're out there, you need to always be paying attention to safety, looking out for the safety of your fellow workers and yourself. You want to come home at the end of the day. You know, you don't end up getting hurt or anything like that. So I think safety is very important to keep in mind first and foremost when you're out there working. Another thing I like to touch on is I'm a union carpenter. I was a union carpenter. I take a lot of pride in that. You know, when we're out there, we're some of the most productive, in my opinion, most hardworking, most passionate carpenters out there. That's what we do, and we take a lot of pride in that. So, but you don't have to be a union carpenter to have that same passion and drive. So that's what it's all about. I love construction. That's not real. I like coming back. I like seeing projects. 10 years, I got my kids in the car, and I say, I hope you'll better. I hope you'll this. I used to say it so much, my kids be like, "You're right, Dad." But it's a good feeling, man. You can bring your family, walk into a hotel, let them know I helped build that column, I helped pour that wall. You know, to me, that's priceless. So that's one of the benefits of being in this trade. But that's not going to happen if you ain't out here putting in the honest day work. So it's important, you know, to stay focused, make that money. Quality work matters. I think quality is lost in its appeal. A lot of people out there that just rush and get things done. I like to do the job right the first time because I know it's going to cost the company money if somebody got to come behind me. And not only that, it's going to leave in my wake that I didn't take care of business. I wasn't an efficient carpenter. So I don't like to leave that in my wake. So when I'm doing something, especially if I have the time, I'm going to make sure it's done right. A lot of times when we're pouring concrete, that's not always possible. I'll just be real with you. You got concrete trucks backing in, you got to have it done now. So in that circumstance, you might have to bend a few corners. But most of the time, if I have the time, I'm going to take the time to make sure the job is done and it's done right. So nobody has to come behind me. I know if the contractor makes money, he's going to keep me working, and I'm going to make money. And that's the bottom line, in my opinion. The next topic I want to talk about is do not let anyone stop you. Me being an African American out in the construction field, there's been many barriers. And I'm not saying other races don't have barriers, women have barriers, handicapped people have barriers. But us as African Americans, we have specific barriers, in my opinion. And you know, when I was starting in the trade, I even had close friends tell me, "Why do you want to be a carpenter? You know, why don't you just do this? And why don't you just do that?" I said, "Nah, this is what I want to do." And I knew in my heart that I wasn't going to let nobody stop me from what I was trying to do. I knew I was going to be one of the best carpenters out there. I knew I was just as good as the next man next to me. And I've been spending the last 20 years trying to prove that. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is don't let anybody tell you you can't do what you want to do. If you want to be a project manager, go after that. If you want to be a foreman, make that happen. If you want to be an engineer, that's possible. So, but you got to believe in yourself, and you can't let people tell you what you cannot do. You know, we can do anything. I'm going to tell you, look at the group out here. You know what I mean? I see engineers, I see project managers in the future, I see people with their own companies. We can make that happen, but it's up to us. Next thing I like to go into is helping your fellow worker. To me, it's very important to help the next man coming up in the trade. It is. Because when I got into construction, I didn't know anything, actually. I didn't know a duplex from a common. So I didn't know anything. So a lot of people helped me, and I'm not only talking about on a racial tip. Whites help me, Mexicans help me, women help me. So I think it's our responsibility to pull the next man up. If you're working with somebody and they don't know the right way to do something, show them the right way, show them the productive way. You know what I mean? Just like someone helped you, it's your responsibility to turn around and help that other person. So that's one of the inspirations that made me write this book, is because I want to pass on what I learned in the trade. I want to pass on my skill and knowledge to my sons, to my nephews, to the person in the community. You know what I mean? I feel like that's my obligation and my responsibility. Okay, with that, the next major topic that I want to go into is working productively. You know, there's a difference between working hard and working productive. You could be running around and not getting a lot done. So when I'm working, I like to work smart. You know, I found out from experience, like if I'm talking to a foreman or superintendent and he tells me there's something that needs to be done, most of the time I like them to repeat it because I want to make sure I clearly understand what they're trying to tell me to do. After that, you know, I make sure I find my power sources, I got my material ready, I got all the things together to make me do that job in an efficient manner because I know they're looking at me, all eyes are on me, all eyes are on most of us when we're out there working. They're looking for the people they're going to keep, they're looking for the people they're going to lay off, they're looking for the people they're going to promote. You know, it is what it is, that's what's out there. So you need to always be working productively, think your work out, and work the plan, work safe when you're out there. Okay, the next thing I like to go into is a lot of companies use task cards. I don't know if Ken does it, but a lot of contractors I was with, it's just a card where you kind of write out your daily plan, the most safe and efficient way to do it. You don't have to wait on the company to do that. You can do it yourself. You know, wake up in the morning, okay, I'm going to be building wall forms, I'm going to need 2x4, I'm going to need plywood, I'm going to need my saw set up, tables. You know, I kind of mentally go through the checklist so I know when I hit the ground, I'm out there hitting the ground running. So task cards have been a great help in helping me do that. So if you haven't done task cards in the past, ask your employer, do they provide them? And if they don't, just make your own up. You don't have to wait on them. Okay, the next thing I like to talk about is time management. It kind of tied into the things that I was talking about a little bit earlier. And that's just planning your work. You know, have a game plan. When you start your day, when you start working, you have a game plan. That's pretty much time management. Okay, the next topic that I'd like to talk about is expect problems. When I'm out there working, we're problem solvers. Basically, is what we are. You know, we're out there to make things happen. It's not easy always making things happen. Sometimes you got to work long hours. Sometimes you got to work when it's raining. Sometimes you got to work when it's hot. But that's what we get paid. We get paid to make things happen. So expect problems when you're out there. It's not always going to be easy. This is not an easy trade. So if you anticipate that, it's going to make things a lot easier. Don't let them get you down. Just say whatever they throw my way, I can handle. You know, that's how I look at it anyway. Okay, the next topic I am going to go into is when to ask for help. Me being a man, I have a lot of problem asking for help sometimes in the past. You know, if I'm struggling with something or somebody has a better idea. But I've learned you got to ask for help sometimes. Sometimes I'm out there, people know a better way than I do. You know, a more efficient way than I do. I've talked to people, I was struggling with something, and they turn around and say, well, why don't you do it this way? It just blows my mind. I'm like, man, why didn't I think about that? You know, that's an excellent idea. So I've learned that to not let my pride get in the way. I do not know anything by any means. You know what I mean? There's people out there got better, faster, more efficient ways of doing things than I do. But if I'm not receptive to that, I'm not going to hear them. If I'm walking around thinking I know everything, I'm not going to learn anything. So you got to know when to ask for help. You know, if you need the help of somebody, you need help lifting something, not killing your back, or somebody got a better way of doing something, let them guide you and give you a better way. Okay, delegating work goes back to the kind of ties into the pride thing. A lot of times when you're working out there, you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere at once. Sometimes you got to chop it up. Let this person do that. Let the other person do that. Let them help you out. It goes to delegating work. So if you run into something where you can't handle the job by yourself, grab the person you're working for, grab another person, and say, hey, can you help me out for a minute? I do that quite often. And so that way we can get the job done that needs to be done. Okay, layout work. In my opinion, layout work is crucial if you want to move up the construction food chain. you gotta learn layout work, you gotta learn how to read plans. This is where people are going if they want to be superintendents, project managers, things of that nature. So, just a short story, when I got in the construction field, I didn't have people trying to teach me how to read plans. I didn't, you know, a lot of plan readers come from different people, they bring people under the wing. A lot of white carpenters run their young apprentices under the wing, a lot of Mexicans run their young apprentices under the wing, but there wasn't no black carpenters out there that was reading plans that would bring me under the wing. And so reading plans is very important to me. So I ended up going to the garbage cans at night, grabbing discarded plans. I take them home, I lay them out at night, I study them, I ask questions. I was on a mission, like I'm gonna learn how to read plans regardless if somebody helps me and teaches me or not. I highly recommend you do this. If somebody's out there, they don't want to take the time to help you learn how to read plans, learn how to read plans. If you go on YouTube, they got a bunch of videos that walk you through it. And most of the time, if you approach somebody with sincerity, they're going to help. Go up to your foreman and say, you know what, I'd really like to learn how to read plans. When you have the time, do you think you can sit down with me and kind of go over this with me? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be receptive to that. But a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You have to ask them. You got to want it. So reading plans and layout is crucial to upward mobility. Production cutting goes back into working productive. Me being a journeyman carpenter, I've been on a lot of jobs where I got like 3 carpenters hollering out numbers to me, A, B, C, cut this, cut that, cut this. To level the confusion, the first thing I do is I ask them again, what was that number you just gave me? I'll grab a 2x4, I start writing numbers down. That way I'm not guessing. And I found out that's one of the most productive ways I can cut. A lot of times I'll gang cut, which is stacking lumber on top of the lumber. If you got 2x4s, they're all 8 feet, stack 2 or 3 of them together, they all 8 feet, cut them. And that way you cut more than one at a time, or plywood, or whatever the case may be. So that goes to production cutting. A lot of commercial jobs, we have to production cut. So you might be cutting for 3 different people. And if you can't do it, you're going to let the next man do it. So these are just some of the techniques that I use to help me do that when that comes up. The next topic I want to talk to you is probably ties into planning, which is anticipating your next move. Just think about the next task you do, mentally plan it out, write some notes. That way when you have to tackle that task, you can hit the ground running. Okay, the next topic that I'd like to talk about is racial discrimination in the construction industry. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. They try to act like they don't exist. They'll tell you, I don't see color. I found out most of the time that's not the case. It's been my experience. If your experience is different, I respect you, but this has been my experience. So us as African Americans, women, handicapped, people of color, we're discriminated against. You know, I don't let that stop me. I don't use that as a reason or anything like that. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that it's out there. You know what I mean? This ain't a fair world. Let's just be real, keep it real. So we have to deal with these problems out there. But it doesn't mean that that has to stop us from accomplishing our dreams. Becoming project managers, superintendents, whatever you want to be. The only person that can stop you is yourself. Okay, overcoming stereotypes. This ties into racial discrimination. A lot of times when I'm out on the job sites, they don't mind giving me a job most of the time, but I found out a lot of companies have a problem with having brothers run work. That's a stereotype. You know, they think that we can't run work, or women aren't as smart as men, they can't work as hard as men. These are stereotypes that we have to deal with there out in the field. But I don't let it stop me. People got their stereotypes, people got their issues, that's their issues. You know, it's not my issue, I'm not gonna let it stop me. Sometimes it does become my issue because it gets in the way of me moving up the ladder. You know, I'm just gonna keep it real. But, you know, regardless, if there's a door, I'm gonna kick through it, I'm gonna break it down, or I'm gonna go around it. That's just my honest opinion. I'm not gonna let nobody stop me from trying to do what I'm trying to do. So, even though we gotta acknowledge that there is racial discrimination in the construction industry, I guess what I'm trying to hit, the point I'm trying to make is you do not have to let it stop you. Next topic I'd like to talk to you about is being a token, a black token, white token, Mexican token. What that means to me is when a company hires you just because of your race or gender. A lot of companies like to think they're equal opportunity employers when they're not, in my opinion. You know, they might have one brother, they might have one woman, they might have one handicapped person, but the only reason why they really have that person around is so when somebody comes around, they can say, and they say, do you hire other races or people, and they can point to you. I don't like sticking around with companies like that because I know I'm better than that, you know what I mean? I don't want you to keep me around because I'm black. I want you to keep me around because I'm a hell of a worker. So that's important to me. So I do not like being somebody's token. So you got to make that own decision. You got to make that decision yourself. I know a lot of people got families to feed. They just happen to have a job. I respect that if that's you, but that's just not me. I don't like being a token. I like being respected for the man that I am and for the work that I produce. The next topic I like to go into is operating equipment. Operating construction equipment is one of the most fulfilling job occupations out there. But what I found out in the field is I don't ever see brothers doing it. In San Diego, we got a lot of cement truck operators. I give them that. But as far as like brothers operating pumps or cranes, backhoes, things of that nature, I never see it. And I know this is a financially rewarding area that a lot of more African Americans, women, and handicapped people should go into. So if that's if that's something that you want to go into, I suggest you walk up to the foreman superintendent, say, you know what, I would really love to learn how to operate the backhoe, the bobcat, the gradall, the crane. A lot of them, they hold trainings, but they're not going to hold the training if they don't think anybody wants to train. So what I suggest you do, go up to the foreman superintendent, say, do you think you guys can hold a class where I can get certified on that? And see where that takes you. A lot of times, that's going to be all it takes. But if they're not receptive and that doesn't happen, there's always the operating union. You can contact them. I took the test like 4 years ago. You can join them and do it that route. So if operating equipment is something that you're thinking about, highly recommend you check it out. We need more people of color in that area. The next topic I will be talking about is getting locked in one position. If you're not continually trying to upgrade your skills, you are going to get locked in one position. You know, you might come in pushing the broom, and 20 years later, you're going to be pushing the broom. You got to be thinking ahead of where I want to go with this. So to do that, you got to always be upgrading your skills. Whenever there's an opportunity for me to take a class or learn something new or anything, I'm hopping on it because I don't want to be doing the same thing I did 10 years ago. So if you do not plan, you will get locked in one position. So always be thinking forward about how you can brush your skills up, how you can learn something new, how you can get sharper. These are the things that's going to allow you to move forward in the construction industry. Okay, this kind of ties into what I spoke on earlier, getting passed for promotions. I've worked with a lot of construction companies where I've seen unfair practices. It is what it is. You know, I've seen people become foreman and superintendent. They used to come to me and ask me, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm like, what kind of sense does this make? But there's a lot of discrimination in the construction industry. So, you know, being an African American, being a woman, we're not going to always get the promotions we deserve when we deserve them, unfortunately. But don't let that be a reason to stop pushing or stop moving in the direction where you want to go. Because in my honest opinion, exceptional talent is always going to be in high demand. So if you're great at your job and what you do, companies are going to seek you out. It might not be the company you're working for, but it'll be the next company. So just, you know, keep the faith, keep working hard, keep brushing your skills up, and sooner or later that opportunity is going to come for you. Okay, lost opportunities. Construction companies who do not practice fair hiring practices are actually hurting themselves. You know, we live in a we live in a global community right now. It's highly competitive all around the world, and you should be seeking the best talent possible, regardless of race, gender, or color. So the companies that are not receptive to this are going to get left behind. You know, when you run your company, you want the best person to do the job, regardless of race or color. That's how it should be. That's not how it always is. But you know, Cannon Construction, I like to commend them, you know, for having me out here today. They're showing me that they're actually backing up what they're trying to do. They're not just talking about it, they're being about it. And I respect that, you know what I mean? They didn't have to invite me to speak in front of you today. They didn't have to go do a lot of things that they're doing. So this showing me that they're genuinely interested in reaching out to the community. So I respect that about Cannon Construction. Okay, taking on added responsibilities. A lot of people out there complain that they are not moving up, they're not getting their props, but they're the ones that show up late, they're the ones that leave early. I got a news flash for people like that. Moving up the chain and better opportunities come to the people that get there early, work late, work hard, work your butts and your ass off, excuse my language. But with that said, you got to be always willing to take on added responsibilities. You know, you can't say somebody come to you, oh, can you do that? Oh, that's not my job. You know, a lot of people like to say that. I don't look at it that way. If I got the opportunity to do something else, they're going to see more in me. Like, not only does Desmond do forms, he can frame too. You know, he can run piping, he can do electrical. But you gotta be willing and able to take on extra responsibilities and not get hung up on that's not my job. If you want that to become your job, you need to be hopping in there. You know what I mean? Help out as much as you can. The more you help out, the more valuable you are. They're gonna say, that dude, he does this, he does that. What is that gonna do for me? It's gonna make me hard to replace. When they gotta lay somebody off, if he's only doing one thing, and I'm doing 4 things, who do you think they're gonna keep around? So, to me, you should be seeking out extra responsibility, not only be willing, but straight ask them. You know, when I get done with this, do you think I can help out with this? Do you think I can learn something about this? Be proactive and seek more responsibilities if you want to move up the construction food chain. Okay, with that, I would like to talk about the opportunities that this redevelopment is going to create in this community. This redevelopment project is going to need probably hundreds of workers. They're going to need foremen, they're going to need superintendents. Believe it or not, they're probably looking at you right now and deciding, you know, maybe we need a person of color in that position. So this is going to create tremendous opportunity if you're open and receptive to it and you're ready to act. So this is something monumental, the thing they're doing right here in the community of Watts. You know, I commend them for it. They're reaching out, they're hiring people of color. But you got to be willing and ready and have the right attitude to take advantage of that. So opportunity is around us. We just got to recognize it. We got to see it, and we got to be ready to hop on it when it's time. So keep your eyes, your ears open. Keep building on your experience. Purchase tools every week. I do. I go out every week. If I'm out there working, I got to borrow your tape measure. The next day, I'm going out and buying one. I do not like. I believe you do not borrow a man's or a woman's or a person's tool more than once. You know, I look at it, they pay me good money, I need to have my tools. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind, you got to spend money. Just like any other field, a mechanic, he can't make money without his tools. If I'm a carpenter, I can't make money without my hammer, tape measure, square, torpedo, plumb box, level. The more tools I have, the more valuable I have. I might go to a job site, they're deciding whether to keep me or him. They ask me, hey, you got a saw log? You got a miter saw? I got that. That could be the difference between them keeping me and letting him go. So I got to continually purchase tools. I look at it like it's an investment in me in my future. So I'm not afraid to invest in my future. So I buy tools every week. I love Home Depot. I go there. I'm like a little kid in the candy store. I go there. I'm trying to buy everything. But I probably